What is the best part about being you?
I have never thought about that. That is a great question. I think my family, my friendships, I think one of the things that Barack and I, we always talk about is that we're proud of the fact that we've kept our community. You know, people that we've known all our lives are still a part of that community that keeps us solid and keeps us whole and grounded. It's easy to lose your head on this journey that we've been on. And I think what keeps us focused is that we have some solid people in our lives, and we make it a point to cultivate those relationships and to learn to be intentional about them. And I think that that's probably one of the coolest things is that, you know, I've got this big kitchen table of people who keep me focused and keep me honest.
What's the longest friendship there? Non-family? Like what's in years, would you say?
The longest friendship. I mean, gosh, childhood friendships I still have.
Wow.
I've sort of picked up friends throughout every part of my life. You know, I've got one or two. I've got the high school friends that I keep in touch with, the college friends, the law school friends, you know, so you sort of gather people throughout. And I've had a lot of people who've sort of just hung in there before we were the Obamas.
Yeah. How does that work? I feel like so many people who are on their journey, a lot of us don't take steps forward because we're scared of what our friends will think. Some of us get carried away with success and ego and pride goes to your head and then you alienate people. Sometimes it's envy and jealousy from everyone else who didn't join you on the journey. How do you navigate a multi-decade level friendship when everyone is going through so much? What are the kind of key milestones and maintaining that kitchen table?
You know, I talk about this journey like climbing Mount Everest. You start, not that I've ever done that, by the way, but what I've heard about climbing Mount Everest is that you start out at base camp and then you hit these summits along the way. And everybody starts out the journey ready, you know, they think I'm gonna make it to the top. And then you start the climb and some people are ready for it and some people aren't. And it's surprising that you learn along the climb who's really ready. And there are people who just emotionally, physically can't go the whole way. They run out of oxygen, you know, they weren't fit for the climb, right? And one of the hardest things is like when you discover that, I mean, do you stop? Do you go back because there was one member that wasn't ready? Or do you keep climbing and sort of leave them where they are? And we found that that's kind of been the pattern, right?
Wow.
There are people who have been, they were built for the climb like we were, and some weren't. And I find that I talk to young people about this too, because when you're a kid coming from nothing, and I won't say that I came from nothing, but Barack nor I came from wealth or connection or fame or fortune. So we have a hodgepodge of people in our lives. And one of the toughest things is to find out that a dear friend wasn't ready for the climb. And in order to keep pressing forward, we tell young people that sometimes you gotta leave them there because you can't carry people when you're trying to get to the top. It slows you down, but there's survivor's remorse that comes with it. And I know a lot of times when I talk to kids and I see them well up, I see in them that struggle, that they've reached a point where they've left people they love behind and they struggle to figure out how to weather or how to maintain those connections, and it becomes hard and it's draining. You know, kids, for example, who got the opportunity to go to college when half their family isn't eating, right? And they've got a student loan and they need to use that loan to pay for their books, but they're trying to send money back home to pay the electric bill. And I tell those kids, like, if you want to make it, you've got to make some hard choices about what to do with your life, or you will not make the climb yourself.
And then everyone loses.
And then everybody loses. And I think that's how we've had to look at it. We've been fortunate enough that we've had so many people who were ready for the climb. They had to adjust. They had to go back and do a little working out. But for the most part, they've made it. But for the people who couldn't, we had to leave them behind and keep climbing. And if once we made it to the top, if we could reach back and pull some others up, we definitely did that.